morning, everybody. Happy Friday. My name is Carly Barnes. I'm the relationship rock star at EasyEquities, along with many other rock stars, especially a few that are joining us today in this webinar. And today is really all about the EasyEquities widget in the new Capitec app. So exciting, so exciting. So before we get into that, I just want to say for the record that I'm an investor, just like all of you guys out there, or investors in the making. Maybe there's a few of you haven't started yet. We'll get you there. I've been investing for the last 5-ish years, and I'm still learning and growing in my journey with EasyEquities. And so I love things like this because I get to hang out with you guys and I learn so much from you as well, which is really cool. And also, I also bank with Capitec. I actually set up my Capitec account recently because I've started saving for a honeymoon, and with these amazing rates and with their awesome UX, it's been awesome. I've loved using my Capitec app. And so when these two amazing forces join together, I mean, it's just been epic. So I am super excited. Don't know if you can tell. But before I ramble on about myself, I want to introduce you to my co-host. You might know him as DJ at large, but he's Tsepo to me. Tsepo, welcome. Say hello.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing, Connie? You good?
I'm good, man. I'm golden. It's so cool to have you here with me.
Yeah. Can we do a virtual high five with you and with all the participants?
Okay,
Are you ready to do the virtual high five?
Yes, let's do it. Bam. I feel like my high five was a little bit aggressive.
It's okay. I understand the energy. It's a Friday. We're excited about what Capitec and EasyEquities is doing, so I can understand the energy.
So, Tsepo, I've probably told my investing story 1,000 times. I'm sure everyone's bored of it, but maybe not because it's just so entertaining to listen to. But I want to kind of share your journey because I met you a couple of years ago. I think you were running one of your Youth Money Circle events, which is super cool. You're such a passionate guy and you have this massive personality. But what I immediately clicked with you about was investing. And I want to know from you, and maybe you can share for the audience today, when did you start investing? Where did this passion for financial education and inclusion come from?
Yeah, so it really comes from how I grew up, having parents that are very strict with money, very careful, very cautious with money. So growing up, they always taught me the value of money and the importance of, saving, investing, to always think about the future, So they always instilled that in me growing up throughout my childhood. And then all of a sudden, I'm working in the radio industry and I'm like, cool, I want to start saving. I want to start investing. But then I started hearing all these crazy things. I started hearing that to invest, you need to have a stockbroker somewhere in Sandton. And in order to start investing, you need to have a lot of money and there's a lot of fees. So you have to be rich to start investing. And then I hear about this cool company called EasyEquities and that you can start investing from 5 Rand. I'm like, 5 Rand? I'm like, no, this can't be it. So I popped into the website and I went through the videos, I went through the content, and I was like, oh my gosh, finally the power to invest is in my hands. And I don't have to be rich. I don't have to know all these big investing complicated words, but finally my 10 Rand or my 5 Rand can buy me a piece of a company. And that's that feeling of real ownership. And for it to be so easy and so cheap. And so that's where my journey started. I was just a young guy in the entertainment industry wanting to invest. And all of a sudden, EasyEquities is there, making it simple and easy. And since then, me and EasyEquities have been like this.
It's so funny you say that. I remember when I first started investing, I started with 100 Rand voucher, and the first share I bought was 20 Rands worth of Pick and Pay shares. And how I stood in the queue at Pick and Pay a few days after that and was like, oh, I'm actually a shareholder. So I don't mind if there's a long queue right now because I'm making bank for all the customers that are actually in the shop today. So it was super, super cool. Do you like remember your first share? How did you decide even what to invest in?
Do you know how crazy this is going to sound, right? Not only do I have a Capitec account, the first share I ever purchased was a Capitec share. And the reason I purchased this is I heard the story of how Capitec had started and how when they launched, the share was like 1 Rand 22. And at the time when I bought my first share, it was 500 Rand. So I was like, from 1 Rand 22 all the way to 5 Rand, cool, this share makes sense. So it was the first ever share I bought, and I've been buying Capitec all along. So it sort of like makes sense that, you know, now all of a sudden there's this cool app and, you know, there's this relationship marriage thing going on with Easy and Capitec. And I'm like, this is interesting. So that was my first share. I'm holding on to that thing until the end.
Guys, I have to tell you, I did not give Tsepo any kind of script before he came here. He is, this is his real true story. This is the true Hollywood story.
Yes.
So unedited and uncut. So that's just for the record. Yeah, I think it's worth chatting about this awesome partnership. I think we've all been super excited about it for quite some time. So we've been hearing about Easy and Capitec doing some things. What are they up to? And, you know, I just think for everyone, it was like, okay, they're these two innovative giants who are breaking ground in South Africa for South Africans, and they're coming together. Only magic can happen from these things. And that magic really culminates in a shared vision by both parties, you know, and I think that is financial inclusion and breaking down the barriers to entry for everyone in South Africa to be able to save, to be able to invest, to be able to bank with dignity, to take their financial destiny into their own hands. So yay, Capitec EasyEquities for president, I say.
Definitely.
Cool. So I think people want to know how this thing actually goes down. So I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to talk about the actual app. Before I do that, I do want to give a little shout out to my man, Lucas Herrick. He is a digital ninja. He's joining us on this call today. And as we go along, guys, if you have questions, please feel free to pop them in the question and answer tab. You can ask them as you go. Lucas will be jumping in, offering some answers, and I'll circle back at the end and we'll kind of go through your questions as well. But it is there and he is in the background working his magic. He might join us a bit later. So let's do this thing. Let's talk about this EasyEquities widget. Okay, what is it all about? So if you have the latest version of the Capitec app, so you got to have the latest version, got to update your app, go into your app store or your Play Store, do the thing, update it. If you have that, you will be able to access EasyEquities. And how you would do that is you would log into your Capitec app, you would click on the button in the bottom right corner that says Explore, and then you'll toggle to the tab that says Widgets. And when you click on Widgets, you'll see, ta-da, EasyEquities right there. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, do I have to maybe register a new account? What's the situation? You don't need to register a new account. If you're an existing EasyEquities user, all you need to do is just follow a few steps and you can actually link your account. So you'll follow a few steps and then you'll sign in with the credentials that you created when you set up your EasyEquities account, and boom, there it is. Your EasyEquities account is linked. Now, if you've never heard of EasyEquities before and you're thinking, okay, I bank with Capitec, there's this new EasyEquities buzz, what's it about? Then you would simply register a new EasyEquities account through the widget, which you can do as well. So you would follow those exact same steps. You would tap Explore, you would go to Widget, and then you would go follow it's like a few registration fields that you fill out. And then Bob's your uncle, you've got an EasyEquities account and you're right there within the widget as well. So very easy to set up. Tip here, just go through the entire registration process. When I say entire, it's not long, it's not hectic, but you know, you might get distracted over there, something's happening, and oh, like you're halfway through your registration. Do the thing, get the thing done, sign in, and you're sorted. So that's essentially in a nutshell, like how you link your EasyEquities EasyEquities widget within the Capitec app. Right, so we've got that. You're all still with me here. You're going to hear me talking a lot today, so I hope you're comfortable with the sound of your voice.
Carly, since you're on the registration on the widget, what happens if I get distracted? Like you WhatsApp call me while I'm trying to register my new account. Like what happens? Do I have to start it again, or do I get kicked out? I'm just thinking about people who might be doing it as we speak.
Okay, I get you. Multitasking. I like this. Okay, yeah. So if you start your registration, you're new EasyEquities, you're signing up for an account, and something happens, like your mom calls you halfway through, or you drop your phone, or you just get distracted, or something happens. What you'll then need to do is, so you would have created your login details where you've got your username and your password. That would have been created, but the rest of your account details you'll need to finish up before you go back into the widget. So how you would do that is you'd actually log into this account that you started, and you'll have to do that at www.easyequities.co.za. You just go right there, sign in, set up your account will open if you sign in with the same credentials. Navigate to the top right where it's got this little person in a red circle, and you select my profile, and you would just finish setting up your profile on the EasyEquities site. When you finish doing that, you'll be able to log in using the widget and those credentials that you created in the beginning. So if it happens, it's not unsolvable. You can fix it if you log in via the EasyEquities website.
Cool.
Okay, cool. So that's how you set it up. But now I think the burning question for a lot of people is, why would I want the widget? Like, I'm an EasyEquities user. Why would I want the widget? Well, there's a couple of reasons. First of all your finance things in one place. Like I can just bank, I can do my investing things. That's pretty cool. The other thing is you get this awesome benefit. It's called a brokerage benefit. Now, not a lot of people know what the word brokerage is. Brokerage is. Confession, a few years ago, I didn't know what it meant either. So it's just a complex word that really means there's a little bit of commission that you're charged when you invest in something or when you sell something. Think of it as like sales commission. The current EasyEquities commission is 0.25%, which is already like super, super low, really cheap. It works out to like 64 cents for 100 Rand if you had to invest 100 Rand. But if you link your widget, the second you link your widget, you get an extra 20% discount on that brokerage, which is pretty sick. That's awesome, right? Who doesn't want to save costs? You were talking about it earlier, Tipo, like you definitely want to save as much as you can.
Definitely.
And, like, I want to hear about your first impression. So I hit Tipo up. I was like, you've got to check this out. I know you're a Capitec freak. You're such a fan. You're going to love this. So tell me what your first impression was.
So when I first heard the news, I was very, very excited. And I was like, okay, cool. Let me wait, because we didn't know when it was going to happen. So I kept checking my app and I'm not seeing it. Then I'm like, oh, I've got to update to the new app. So I updated onto the new app, which of course is very, very easy. And then there's the widget tab, clicked it. And the process of linking the two was like very quickly, very easy, instantaneous. And then I was like, oh my gosh, all of a sudden I can move money directly from any of my savings accounts to fund my EasyEquities and then buy shares on the same widget. So it's not like I can only fund it and then log out and then log onto the EasyEquities app and do all of that. So for me, the convenience was so easy because, Carly, I've had 1 or 2 incidents where I'm trying to fund my EasyEquities account, and you've got to do it through an EFT, which is my preferred way. And then I messed up my reference, like I left 1 digit out. So now all of a sudden I'm like, why is my account not updating? What's going on? Only to find the mistake was on my side. So all of a sudden, that whole EFT process it's no longer needed. Now I can just do it from the app. So the convenience, the discount, the ease. Now I can do it on the go. For me, it's an absolute game changer. Because the truth of the matter is everybody wants convenience. Everybody wants things to be easy. And as you were saying, everything in one place, it just makes sense. So yeah, so I tried it out, and once again, I bought more Capitec shares.
Yeah, you gotta like, it's like online shopping sometimes. You just like gotta, okay. But in this case, I would say don't hold back. Don't hold back.
Yeah, so so for me, the convenience of it just made absolute sense. To have everything in one place. So I love it, and I'm excited for what EasyEquities is doing.
That's awesome. So you mentioned something which I think we should definitely chat about, and that is this convenience of funding your account. So let's go through the fundamentals of funding. I just made that up right now. Like, I didn't even
I got you. We understand you. We've got you.
So if as you were saying, like if you banked with Capitec prior to the widget, you would have had to go through the traditional process, which is an EFT transfer, deposit into your EasyEquities account. Now that transfer happens within the app. So it still takes the same amount of time at the moment. So it still takes 2 business days for those funds to actually reflect in your EasyEquities ZAR account, which is your South African account. It still takes 2 days, but the actual application of it is super quick and easy. It's really, really convenient. So if you were looking, let's say you were looking to fund your USD account, because we know people want some Apple shares, some Facebook shares, some Amazon, some Tesla. We are Team Musk, yeah. So so that's how you would fund your South African account. You would just do a transfer from your bank account to your ZAR account. And then once that money is in your ZAR account, you can then just, in the same fashion, transfer it to your USD account, and it will take your rands, change them into dollars using something called EasyFX. It's like our nifty little tool that takes rands, makes them into dollars, all on the platform. And then you would wait for those funds to clear in your USD account. That can also take 48 hours. It's usually less, but we just, to be safe, 48 hours. And then you can go and invest them. And the same with your tax-free savings account. So once the money lands into your ZAR account from your Capitec bank account, you can then go and transfer some into your tax-free savings account. And if you guys don't know what a tax-free savings account is, it's time. It's time that you do some reading. It's my favorite account, although my US account's pretty cooking as well. Tipo, do you use like all of your accounts? Which ones are your favorite?
You've got to use everything, but I definitely do love the USD, because I'm also into what's going on abroad. Buying those kind of shares. I've got a little bit of Visa. I've got a little bit of Apple as well. So I use all of them. But on the issue of funding as well, Carly, there's something I was thinking about. Could we see a future where the transfer is instantaneous as opposed to the 2 days? Or is the 2 days going to be a permanent thing?
We're 2 days ahead of you even. So the next thing that we're looking to develop is actually that functionality. So that's immediate. I think, ultimately that's what you want, right? You want to be able to go, I want to invest in that, it's done. Deposit, transaction. So that's actually the very next thing on our roadmap. No spoilers as to when it's coming, but it's definitely coming soon. So you can definitely look out for that. So beautiful. I think in terms of those accounts that I've mentioned, you'll notice that I haven't mentioned accounts like a retirement annuity or in Australia. Like there's some things that I haven't mentioned. I've really just focused on ZAR, USD, and TFSA. And that's because this is the core functionality that's available to people who use the widget. It's everything you need, quite simplistically, core functionality, South African, tax-free savings, and USD account, as well as your demos, because who doesn't want to practice, right? So you still get your South African demo account, which is 100,000 Rand, and your USD demo, which is $10,000 dollar bills. I got to tell you though, you may suffer from something called demo FOMO, which I've had, where I go and invest in my demo account because I'm playing around and I don't want to commit. And then a year later, I look at my demo account and how well it's done. And I'm like, why? Why didn't I just do this in my live account? So there's a little insider tip from me. Yeah. Go demo, play around, but the real magic happens in your live account. Don't get FOMO. So, okay, we've spoken about funding. Yeah. I think obviously there's buying and selling. So once the money's in your account, then you get to go and actually make the investments. Now, we spoke about it earlier. I mean, the practicalities of doing that are literally like a few taps. It's really easy. We've got an FAQ portal that pretty much gives you a step-by-step on like, how would you invest in a share? These are the buttons to push, but it's also super intuitive. Like, you guys will see the widget's got the most amazing, easy, slick UX. You'll figure it out on your own, I have no doubt. But if you are stuck, our FAQ, support.easyequities.co.za, the widget category, go check it out. There should be everything in there that you need. So yeah, in terms of buying and selling, it's very straightforward. There are some things, and I actually got some questions. So you guys submitted some questions ahead of the webinar, some of you, and one of them, which I think is relevant to talk about now, was, will I be able to set up a recurring investment using the widget? So the answer to that question is no, not right now. But we are looking at including those things in the next phase of development. So there's things like bundles, recurring investments, and a couple of other features that maybe you have seen on EasyEquities that you wouldn't see in your widget straight away. Those features are coming. For now, it's just the core functionality, which for me is actually perfect. That's, like you said, Sipho, super convenient. Like, I'm literally waiting for my doctor's appointment and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to quickly make this investment. Oh, Life Hospital, I think I'll invest in that, you know. So that's what you got, that's what you need. So yeah, you've got US investments, right?
Yes, I do have some.
These are, okay,
yeah,
cool. So maybe we can talk a bit about withdrawing from using your widget, because US investments quite a hot topic with that. So in terms of your traditional, so let's play a scenario out. Okay, you've invested in some Capitec shares. You were, you invested in them a long time ago. You're a smart investor and you have had a long-term point of view. You've let these shares do the thing, work their magic over years and years and years. And you decide, okay, now it's time. I'm ready to withdraw my funds. I'm going to sell my investment and then I'm going to withdraw the money that I've made on that investment. And so to do that is also to actually action the withdrawal is a very straightforward, easy process. It's literally a few taps and you can issue the withdrawal so long as your money has settled. So if you sell a share or a portion of a share or whatever amount that you want to sell, you'll need to wait for those funds to actually settle in your account. Now, the reason for that is it's actually a regulation thing that the JSE has in place, and it's 5 business days that you would need to wait for those funds to now be available for you to withdraw. If you wanted to go and invest them, you could do that straight away. But in terms of actually taking the money out of your account, it's regulation. People are crossing their I's, dotting the T's. You just need to wait for them to settle. So you wait for them to settle. It's like Christmas, like waiting, the presents under the Christmas tree. And now you're ready to make your withdrawal. Once you issue a withdrawal, very straightforward process, you would then wait another 2 business days for those funds to appear in your account. So it's really just a little chain reaction that takes place, but actually quite a simple process, so long as you are aware of those waiting periods. And USD withdrawals. This has been, just a bit of a stumbling block for a lot of people who've wanted to withdraw their USD amounts. I would have to say, if you guys could see my USD account, it's really paid off not to withdraw anything. I just my Netflix shares are over 170% in the green. So I'm just very happy to leave them there and let them sit for as long as possible. But I get that, sometimes you do want to make a withdrawal. I think it's important that people know that withdrawing a really small amount probably isn't going to make sense. So if you're looking to withdraw $10 from your USD account, if you have to think of, there are fees associated depending on who you bank with. Obviously, we're talking Capitec now, so their fees are really low and reasonable. But, there is a deduction that happens when you make that withdrawal. So when you are thinking about withdrawing from your USD, you have to think, okay, do I really need this cash? And let me then withdraw a bigger amount or let it ride, keep it in there, just to make sense for the fee, from a fee perspective. And then in the past, and I know with a lot of other banks, there's some admin required to get that money out of your USD account. So it's, banks need to report on these things. They've got an obligation to kind of report to the bodies that need the information. And so often at times you would need to provide your bank with like a letter, and it can be a bit of a back and forth process. Fortunately, because we have this amazing partnership in place, if you're a Capitec user and you're making a US withdrawal, you can expect to hear from the Capitec Forex team within 2 days of making that withdrawal. They'll give you a holler, they'll ask you a few questions, you answer, and they'll give you an estimate as to when you can expect those funds back in your account. So that's awesome. That's like a really slick, smooth process, no paperwork, you're good to go. And that's essentially how US withdrawals work with the widget.
Which I think is definitely easy, because I know sometimes that the process can be so daunting. So, I mean, for you to go through it and to explain the ease of doing it is great. And I'm very jealous of your Netflix shares. Very, very jealous.
You should be. My USD account is lit. I'm not even gonna lie. I've got my USD account. That's like it's my favorite child, like you always have a favorite child. And then my tax-free savings account is where I have really focused on my retirement. So that's like my nest egg. I'm like investing all my like savings for my later life, my days when I'm going to be balling when I'm older. I'm saving it all in there. So I have like a lot of fun in my USD account, makes me very happy. And then my TFSA account is more for my retirement purposes. But everyone's got their own goals, right? You kind of got to do what's right for you. No one can read that. Our platform's DIY. It's do it yourself. That's why our help portal is also DIY. We've got so many FAQs. We've given so much content to really help people navigate their own journey, which is super rewarding. I find really empowering.
Yeah,
I've spoken enough, guys. Way too much already. Tebo, do you have any questions that we haven't covered? Like, was there anything else that you wanted to know?
There's two things that I'm thinking about right now, right?
Okay.
Is I know on the normal EasyEquities app, you can do an early settlement. Would that be possible on the widget?
I don't think that is possible yet on the widget. Like I said, it's core functionality. So, in this early stage, that's kind of what I've outlined is what's available. You also have the ability to invest outside of market hours. That is another feature that is available in the widget. So, for example, if at 3 in.the morning you wake up and you think, you know what, like I just have to invest in some Dischem shares today, I'm just having a feeling about it, you can actually, we call it a buy instruction. You can place a buy instruction, which just means that you invest and your investment goes through this as soon as the market opens on that day. So the market opens between 9 and 5. I think just after 9 and just before 5 is sort of your window period that you can invest, like when the markets are live. If you wanted to invest after those hours, or if you wanted to sell after those hours, it is possible. But just note that transaction would go through as soon as the market opens the following day. That goes for US markets, which have different times. Obviously, they're in a different time zone. So I think it's 1:30 till 8 o'clock at night that they're live here in South Africa. But yeah, so that functionality is there. But I can't even remember what your initial question was.
The early settlements.
Early settlements.
Carly, there's also another friend of mine who got the jump. they heard about the webinar that's happening tomorrow, and they actually asked me about the 20% discount in terms of brokerage fees. So it applies when you buy and also when you sell, or is it only
Correct.
one way?
So long as your widget is linked, so from the second you link that widget to the second you delink a widget, your widget.
Which would be the worst thing to do.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Why would you? That 20% discount applies across all your transactions. That includes on the EasyEquities platform as well. So you are then a person who gets the discount, So yeah, it's for buying and selling. That discount applies. is
beautiful. I love
nice.
this process. You can fund it on the widget, you can buy on the widget, you can sell on the widget. It just makes everything simple. And as I said, it's about convenience and there's the discount as well. So I'm already using it. I'm happy. You've answered all my questions. It's a really good Friday.
So maybe we need to take some questions from our users. Now, I mentioned that, or our investors rather, or investors in the making. I did get some questions ahead of this webinar, so I'm going to just go through a couple of those now because they might relate to some other questions. So let's take a look. So I was asked, how is the widget different to the EasyEquities app? So I think we've answered that in saying the widget has the core functionality, tax-free savings account, South African account, and a USD account. And for now, that's the offering. So that's the main difference. Also, obviously, the brokerage discount, that's 20% brokerage discount, which is super cool. Do I need a Capitec account to be able to access my EasyEquities account? Yes, you do. You do need to have a Capitec account so that you have the Capitec app. Otherwise, yeah, it's not really possible. So otherwise you would have to just access your EasyEquities account as you normally would. So if you want to use the widget, you do need a Capitec bank account and you need to download the latest version of the app. Then I did have someone saying, I made a deposit and it's not reflecting. Now, it could be that you haven't waited for those 2 business days to pass. So you need to give it 2 business days, take a chill, come back in 2 business days, check it out. Like I said, the instantaneous functionality is on its way, but we're not there yet. So 2 business days. If it's been longer than 2 business days, something funky could be happening there. Maybe, it's hard to say because we handle it on a one-on-one basis. So the best thing for you to do in that case would be to log a ticket with the EasyEquities team. And how you do that is you go to support.easyequities.co.za. There's tons of FAQs, like go through those first. It might be that the answer's right in front of you and you don't even need to do anything else. You can sort it out yourself, which is like a plus. But you can then also, if you really need to, you can log a ticket, which is super cool. It's also really easy and straightforward. Okay, so those are the questions, the main questions I got ahead of the webinar. Let's see if I can take a look at some of the other questions. I'm going to go to Q&A. I see Lucas has been doing all the things here. So he's done a lot of the answers here. I'm going to just see if there's anything that's worth chatting about. Okay, are withdrawals immediate? No, they are not. So you would need to wait those 2 business days for your withdrawal to reflect. And also keeping in mind, you can only withdraw settled funds. You need to wait that 5-day waiting period. If you want to withdraw the funds, then once you've withdrawn them, it's 2 days. So that's that question. Do you think it's better to buy shares with company that you have more interest in, or anything goes? That's a really good question. So I think it's important to say that I'm not a financial advisor. None of us are financial advisors. We're not here to offer you advice. And what's amazing about the EasyEquities platform itself is that you are in control of your own destiny. You make the decisions. And if you can invest with the same amount that it would cost you to buy a cappuccino, it's a really cool way to learn. You can use small amounts, you can really grow in your experience. But I'm just going to speak for myself and share my own technique. I've got a couple of different ways, and Tsepo, I'm going to ask you as well when I'm done.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of different ways that I like to make investment decisions. So disclaimer, I'm a huge fan of exchange traded funds. If you guys don't know what those are, please go and check out the EasyEquities blog or the FAQ portal. Go and do some reading on exchange traded funds. If you're a newbie beginner investor, great place to start. But for me, I started out by looking at companies I understood. I never wanted to invest in a company I didn't know what they did. So for me, I was like, okay, where do I do my grocery shopping? Pick and pay. Who's my telecom provider? Who's like my cell phone provider? Vodacom. Okay, I know what these businesses do. I might even know a little bit about their CEO. I might know about their strategy, like where they see themselves going. So for me, it just made sense to invest in those brands first, with 20 Rand here, 20 Rand there, see how they go. So that's where I started. And then as I grew in my journey, there were a couple of other things I started doing. I started researching a little bit. I started looking at companies' financial results, like what did the CEO have to say about the next year? What were financial journalists writing about these companies? And there's so many great reputable financial journalists and publications that you guys can follow on Twitter, online. Google is your friend. If you're a chart numbersy person, Google Finance is going to be your playground. Go and check it out. And then, of course, there's our own in-house research. So we have a research portal on EasyEquities where there's someone called The Beef. He does like awesome, my mate Barry, he does like awesome analysis on stocks. There's also ETF research in there. So the world is your oyster when it comes to information available out there. You just have to kind of go and seek it out and find it and make sure that it's reputable. So that would be my own strategy. Tsepo, how do you pick shares? What do you do?
So, me and you, Carly, we vibe because a lot of what you do, I do as well. There's just another little secret that I have as well. So there's a financial show that is on, a radio show that's on at 6 p.m. called The Money Show. And I think every Monday, they usually have an expert who comes on and does like stock pick Mondays. And they will choose a few companies and highlight them and give you reasons as to why you should keep your eye on certain companies. So it's really all about taking in as much information as you can from various reputable sources, listening to what they say, and then doing a little bit of your own little research. And we're not saying go through the company's financials and know what the CEO's surname is, but know what the company actually does. So when you said things like Pick and Pay, groceries, I shop there, I know how everything is done, and my cell phone provider and so forth, or perhaps you're a person that likes sneakers and you wanna show that in your portfolio as well. So it's using all these resources that are available, and then pick and choose what makes sense to you. And it's never going to be the same for Carly. It's never going to be the same for me. As an example, Carly, you with the Netflix, and it makes a lot of sense. I'm sure you do have a Netflix account. With me, it's Visa, because all of my cards have Visa on them. So, also hearing a bit about what Visa's doing. So it's all about taking all the information that is out there and using it. Twitter as well, following some of the guys that are reputable in big companies who speak about different companies in a very easy and relatable way. And so using all that information. And if you still feel a little bit shaky, that's what the demo account is for. So if somebody says, have a look at Visa, get into the demo account and buy a little bit of Visa and monitor it and see how it goes. So, the beauty of EasyEquities, you're not rushed and stressed to have to invest today. We're sort of saying, here's a beautiful and easy platform. If you're stuck somewhere, shout, let us know. But this is how we want you to do it, So yeah. I'm with you 100%. That's why we vibe.
And you also mentioned something that I'm going to geek out a little because I'm a big fan of this word, and it's a word called diversification. Yes. It's a long word, but basically it just means like don't put all your eggs in one basket. So if you take, let's say you've got 100 Rand to invest, and you take that 100 Rand and you put it all into one share, that's kind of like placing all your money in one thing. What you could rather do is you could say, okay, cool. Let's use you and I as an example, I'm going to put a little bit of my money in maybe the financial markets. I'm going to also put a little bit of money in retail. I'm going to put a little bit of money in maybe pharmaceuticals, and the rest I'm just going to, really like food and beverages. I'm going to do that. Now, if one of those industries goes through a knock, there's some economic pressure on one industry, you've got 3 other industries to offset that pressure. And so your portfolio, although it's always going to go up and down, and that's something that everyone needs to get comfortable with. Stocks go up and down. Companies' share prices go up and down. It's normal and natural to do that. But on the days where one sector or one company is down, you know that there's going to be others that are up that even things out. So that's another fundamental investment sort of philosophy. That's a really good one to keep in mind, especially when you're just getting started. Okay, let's have a look here. We have someone who's asking, how often is the EasyFX USD ZAR rate updated? I read it's a 1-day window, but the rate today is the same as the rate yesterday, not exactly on the Capitec topic. So I mean, EasyFX is essentially the tool or the technology that takes your rands and turns them into dollars. And obviously that happens at a specific rate. We update that rate every weekday at 10:30 South African time or 11:30 during British summertime. Thank you, Lucas, for the very in-depth explanation. But I think, you know, if you really want to get into the nitty-gritty of that, it's the best thing you can do is go to support.easyequities.co.za, search for EasyFX, and you'll get a complete breakdown on what that's about, how it works, and I think you'll probably find that more useful. Okay, this question I get a lot. It's weird that I get this question a lot, so bear with me. I didn't ask it, you guys asked it. What happens if I die? This is a question that comes up a lot. So what happens if you have an EasyEquities account and you pass away, or someone else you know who has an EasyEquities account passes away? That account will be handled exactly as it would as part of your estate. So there's also an FAQ that breaks down the kind of steps that you would take, the different scenarios that you may face if you were to die. So please, again, go to support.easyequities.co.za and read up on that. But you don't need to worry about it. There is a process in place. It is handled with the rest of your estate. Okay, let's have a look here. Morning, guys. Morning, Offense. In terms of the TFSA account with a max investing amount of 36,000 per year, which is not taxable, when does the 40% tax apply? Is it when you withdraw your funds or exceed the capped amount of the 36,000 Rand annually? So I think that's a great point to raise. If you've never heard of a tax-free savings account, I'm going to give you a very quick summary of what that is. A tax-free savings account allows you to invest without paying tax on the capital gains or the dividends or the interest you earn on cash. So let's be honest, SARS wants a piece of every bit of profit that you make. We all know because we're busy doing our tax returns at the moment. Well, I am trying. And so what's awesome is, like, if you invest in a tax-free savings account, you don't have to pay tax, but there are limits. So the limits are that you can only deposit 36,000 Rand a year, which is what Offenses mentioned, and a lifetime limit of 500,000 Rand a year. So the question you asked is the 40% tax. The 40% tax is for any amount you deposit that is over the 36,000 annual limit. So guys, don't go over the limit. You don't want to be clapped with tax when you're in your tax-free savings account. You have to stick to those limits in order to get those benefits. Okay, Stanwa has asked, what is the impact of this partnership? I may have missed it in the beginning. The impact of this partnership, we spoke about it earlier, and we have recorded this, guys, so we will be sharing this. You can go back and have a look at some of the points we've mentioned. But essentially, me and Sepa were just saying it's awesome that these two innovative heavyweights have come together. EasyEquities and Capitec have very much a shared vision of financial inclusion, breaking down the boundaries to entry for every South African to be able to save and invest, take control of their financial dignity. I think from a partnership perspective, that's the most awesome feeling. I mean, you can imagine the magic that happens when two people with the same vision come together. Affordable, easy, and, you know, just really cool investing and saving. So that's essentially it. But we actually do have some blog material on that as well that you can go check out on our website. The next question I have is from Mpo. Said, can I view my brokerage discount on transaction histories, just like how I can view my Thrive discount on the transaction history? Lucas chirped in there, not at the moment, but that's a great idea. So thanks. We will take note of that suggestion, and we'll take it to our Capitec counterparts to discuss. I'm going to just move here to the chat panel. I think that's all that we've got in our Q&A. Wait, there's one more. What is an ETN? Oh my goodness. That's a whole other webinar, Fatima. So what we're going to do is, when we post this video, guys, we'll actually include some links, quick and easy links for you to go and have a look at. You can read up about ETNs, and you can go and I'll give you a blurb of information. I just want to make sure we get through to these widget questions. Okay, so let's see here. We've got Walter asking about the instant payment on the Capitec app. So Walter, as I mentioned earlier, this is definitely something that we're looking to bring in as soon as possible. It's not there at the moment, but it's in our plans. And as soon as it's available, we'll make a big noise about it. You best know. And I think that's it. I think that's all the questions I have that you guys have. That's really cool. Glad to see. Let me just check here. I think we might have one more. No, I think we're good. Okay, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you joining. I really want your I really want you to go and try it out. Please go and try it out. I'd love to hear what you think. My Twitter handle is @ShareGalCarly. Please hit me up. Like, love to hear your feedback. You know, we take our cues from you guys. You guys drive, you know, the innovation that we produce all the time. So please holler, let me know. Tsepo, any closing thoughts?
I'm very excited. I'm happy about what you and Capitec have started. As I said, it's about the convenience, you know, so thinking about the Easy family and how do we make their lives easier and give them a discount and still be open enough to take suggestions if they say, we've got this idea, we've got that idea, and to actually implement it. So, you know, we want the whole of South Africa to invest, to save, to start to think about their futures. So now all the platforms and resources are there, making it as easy as possible. So for me, I love to see people saving, investing, building wealth. So for me, it's a happy Friday. Try it out, download it, link up. If you're already an EasyEquities, a family member, link it up. If you're not a family member, we welcome you with open hands. And you can find EasyEquities on Twitter. You can find them on the gram. You can go to their website. So they're there, they're everywhere. So I'm very happy.
Awesome, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. And we look forward to chatting about this even more. We're most likely going to have a few of these. So look out on the gram, on Twitter. We'll be there chatting about this all the time. So yeah, thank you guys. Have an awesome weekend and an amazing Friday.
Can we do one more high five?
Yes, let's do it. I'll be less aggressive.
All the participants, wherever you are, just give us a great high five. Are you ready, Connie?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Bye, guys.